If you thought Joe Biden's campaign was bad before, wait till you see what's going on now. Glitches, blank screens, awkwardness, falling asleep. The poor man. You see, the Democrats are playing a very difficult balancing act. They know that if Joe Biden remains unseen, it's good for him up until a certain point. Keeping him hidden has actually helped him because, well, he's prone to gaffes and he's kind of losing it, right? But they know that if they keep him hidden too long, people start asking questions. We saw the hashtag a little while ago, where is Joe Biden? And everybody arguing that Joe Biden is missing, which sparked a panic among some Democrats that he wasn't getting any airtime. But then he does get airtime, and we see this, a complete and total disaster. It's a very difficult position to be in. Meanwhile, enthusiasm for Donald Trump is through the roof. Now, I know you may be saying, Tim, you're biased. You just rag on Democrats all the time. Trust me, I don't just arbitrarily choose to do these stories. Dave Weigel of the Washington Post signed up as a Trump supporter and a Biden supporter. Here's what happened next. And I guarantee you already know the answer. The Trump campaign was informed and active, rallying, asking for money, and the Biden campaign was nowhere to be found. Look, the app didn't do anything. It was missing for hours. The point is, we can see it over and over again. Joe Biden's campaign is like non-existent. And I have some theories as to why this is. I honestly kind of think Joe Biden's not really running for president. Let's be honest. He's hundreds of millions of dollars behind Trump. He's barely doing anything as it is. Now, again, you can argue they're trying to keep him hidden because he's an awful candidate. But a lot of people speculate. The Democrats know they will lose no matter what. So they're putting in a sacrificial lamb. You know, they could put up a Buttigieg or a Klobuchar or a Warren, but they're worried that might spoil the candidate for 2024. Now, probably won't be Warren in 2024 because she's getting on in years. But they don't want to waste an opportunity with a young candidate. So they put in Joe Biden for now. Then Joe Biden ends up losing and they say, oh, gosh darn, we tried it as hard as we could. But you didn't. I think it's actually unfair at this point to even argue that Joe Biden's campaign is a disaster because it seems to be by design. This story about Biden's virtual Tampa rally running into glitches, it's not even the first time this has happened. You'd think after the first mistake, you know what? No. Let me walk it back. I'm not going to argue it's intentional or there's some plan or conspiracy. The fact remains, the simple solution is they are totally and completely incompetent. It's the only way I can really put it. And with the documents coming out about the Russia investigation, with Michael Flynn now having his charges dropped, it is win for Donald Trump. And I know people are going to look at me and they're going to be like, that's just because you're biased for Trump. Fine. Wait till I get the story from Dave Weigel about how the campaigns are being run. And you're not going to be surprised in the least bit. Let's read the first story. Before we do, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are several ways you can support me: PayPal, crypto options, a physical address. But of course, the best thing you can do is just share this video. YouTube's algorithm is propping up mainstream media and it's downranking channels like mine. If you watch my videos, they'll just recommend like CNN or mostly Fox News. But if you share my video, it's substantially more powerful than any algorithmic recommendation system or whatever. But if you just want to watch, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and hopefully that's enough to get YouTube to actually recommend my videos to you. But let's read the news from the Washington Post. This story is not surprising. It's actually kind of sad that they're doing this to Joe, to be honest. They introduced me, a blurry Joe Biden asked 5 seconds after he appeared on screen. Am I on? He added, as he walked towards the camera on choppy video and removed his aviator sunglasses. What was supposed to be a crisp and cool introduction instead stoked confusion. Good evening, Tampa, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee said. I wish we could have done this together and it had gone a little more smoothly. This was an event Thursday billed as virtual rally with Joe Biden in Tampa. It was an hour plagued by technical glitches, awkward pauses, delays, and even some blank screen time. Do you remember the last time Joe Biden tried doing that? Okay, he's done virtual events that have gone off without a hitch before. But it's not the first time he's been plagued with these weird glitches. And I kid you not, at one point, he actually wandered off camera. We have this story from The Verge. Joe Biden's first virtual town hall was an absolute technical nightmare. The coronavirus has forced the campaign to get creative. He actually was like muttering incoherently and then wandered off camera. But let's get back to the current news. We'll come back to this story. They say for a campaign seeking a substitute for the rousing events that Biden would be holding. Excuse me, rousing events? Apparently, you've never seen a Joe Biden event before. There was one event where he turned away from the audience and started talking to the wall. I kid you not. Oh, it was like a screen or something. He's done this. There are events where he just doesn't know what's going on. Rousing. No, maybe rousing to him because he's a tired old man and his staff has to keep rousing him so he can speak. Let's read. For a campaign seeking a substitute for the rousing events that Joe Biden would be holding, if not for the coronavirus, the first of its kind, served as a tough lesson about the perils of remote campaigning that played out in real time. At the start, it had all the trappings of a typical Biden campaign rally. A high schooler led the Pledge of Allegiance from his room. DJ Jack Henriquez played upbeat tunes, and MC welcomed speakers by name. But as the rally went on, problems surfaced. There was the cut of Janet Cruz, a state senator, who sat silent before the screen cut away from her, only to cut back without explanation moments later. There was the shot of Rep. Charlie Crist dabbing his chin as he waited in silence against a backdrop of palm trees and high rises. It was unclear whether he knew he was on. What is this? And throughout, there was distorted video and audio that some on social media likened to transmissions coming in via a dial-up modem. What? The event showed how the pandemic has dramatically changed the campaign. It also underlined the growing pressure on Biden to expand his footprint in the battleground states expected to decide the November election. Even before it kicked off, Biden's supporters acknowledged the virtual rally was a far cry from the excitement generated by a candidate's actual visit to a crucial swing state. John Morgan, a top Biden donor from Florida, said he was not even planning to tune in. Still, Biden has few options, he added. You have to try, Morgan said. If not, you just sit there on your Peloton and look out the window. It's like these restaurants who are serving takeout. Is that the best option? No, but it's an option. At one point, as footage of Crist speaking became so hard to follow, the screen went to black, piping in his audio with no video feed. When Biden finally appeared from his home in Delaware, he was clearly aware of the issues. As he spoke, the technical issues continued, making parts of his speech indiscernible. We need to remember who we are. We are the United States of America, he said toward the end, a line he has often used on the campaign trail. As he spoke, a bird could be heard singing loudly in the background. Do you not have directional microphones? Oh, come on, man. A Biden campaign spokesman did not immediately respond to a question seeking clarity on the cause of the technical issues. Incompetence. Look, man, I'd love to believe there's a conspiracy where Biden's purposely failing because they want to lose or they just don't care. But the reality is you have chosen a man who can barely stay awake, who can't speak, and he can't run his own campaign. Why would anyone in their right mind vote for this guy? Even the progressives are saying they're going to vote for him, which means Trump is going to win. Thursday's event was broadcast on the Biden campaign website and on YouTube, allowing anyone to view it, including those outside of Florida. Biden digital director Rob Flaherty said before it started, the campaign collected sign-in information from supporters as it would at a traditional rally. Organizers promoted the event via Facebook ads in the Tampa area and sent people reminders for the future. The campaign is contemplating enabling people to sign in and get an exclusive watch and chat experience. Biden's rally was the second of two Florida virtual events on Thursday. At a roundtable with African-American leaders from Jacksonville, Biden made his most forceful comments yet on the Ahmaud Arbery story. But I don't want to get into that. It's an entirely other issue. So what I want to show you is what's going on with this campaign. Now, of course, Biden is being mocked for tech glitches in virtual Tampa campaign rally. Of course, many people are bringing this up. He had no idea what was going on. Evan Axelbank says the candidate's own audio was going in and out and all glitchy. How can a national campaign allow this to happen? Do they not have Zoom? And this is just apparently a local affiliate reporter. Well, we get it. A story on Vice described the rally as so plagued by technological problems, it looked like it was being run by local seniors attempting Zoom for the first time. It was. It's Joe Biden. The dude doesn't even know what an app is. I'm exaggerating, but come on. This happened before, back in March. Friday night's, this is from back in March, Friday night's town hall wasn't even supposed to take place online. Earlier this week, two major Democratic primary candidates, Biden and Bernie, were forced to cancel some campaign events. The Zoom call was plagued with technical problems from the beginning. First, it began over 3 hours late. Once Biden did start speaking, his staff had to restart his entire speech because there was no audio, fading his campaign logo in and back out again to signify that they were redoing the address. As he started reading off his prepared remarks again, Biden's audio was suddenly painful to hear and impossible to understand, at least until they replaced whatever mic he was using with a smartphone. Dude, after a couple months, this is what we get. Remember when Biden fell asleep? Social media reacts after Joe Biden appears to fall asleep during his town hall with Hillary Clinton. Now, I don't know if he actually did fall asleep, but for like 20 seconds, his eyes are closed and he's not moving. Even if he was reading and looking down, you might still see his eyes moving. It really did seem like he fell asleep. Inquisitor writes, during a virtual town hall with Hillary Clinton, presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden appeared to fall asleep while the former Secretary of State spoke about the role of women in the United States workforce. In response, many took to social media to react to the moment, which many found humorous. Quote, Joe Biden falls asleep as Hillary Clinton speaks instantly becomes more relatable to Americans. Quote, to be fair, everyone else watching was also asleep, wrote J.T. Lewis, a candidate for Connecticut State Senate. But the Inquisitor does also bring up that it's not just Joe Biden here. Donald Trump has also been accused of falling asleep at a meeting, and this was just back in March. And I got to say, you know what, to be fair, it really does seem worse that Donald Trump was falling asleep. He didn't really fall asleep. He was just like, his eyes were blinking a lot, and he really did seem tired. But I'll tell you what, man. While you could argue that it's worse that Donald Trump was falling asleep during a meeting, Joe Biden should be ready for his own campaign events. He should be invigorated. But more importantly, a story about Donald Trump once or twice, being tired is substantially different from Joe Biden's pattern of behavior where he's consistently falling asleep. Here we go, CNN. Biden's invisible campaign is winning. See, this is the dangerous balancing act, the difficult balancing act they're struggling with. Keep Biden off camera and you avoid these mistakes. When the more Biden appears in the press, the more insane things he says. In fact, there are some things he said that were supposed to be innocent. I can't even repeat on this channel. I'm not kidding. In the past week or so, Biden has said twice about, I can't say it. I really, really can't because YouTube will get mad at me. But he talked about certain behaviors that seemed like strange innuendo that resulted with people questioning his choice of words. They gotta keep the guy off TV. They really do. But if they do it too much, he looks bad. And so the problem is the amount of airtime Biden needs is too much for the poor man because he can't even handle his own planned events. So again, criticized Trump, looked like he was getting tired. But yeah, sorry, man. Now we get to the good stuff. Dave Weigel for the Washington Post downloaded both apps, Trump and Biden. And what do you expect? Well, here's the funny thing. He says, signing up for the Trump app subscribed me to not one, but two automated text chains. The first came from the Trump campaign within seconds of signing up, informing me that I had just gotten reward access unlocked, thus qualifying me to earn points and meet President Trump during the campaign in fall. 1 minute later, the Republican National Committee thanked me for joining the team and asked whether I could let the president know what you think of this week's accomplishments. Following the first link took me back to the Trump campaign page. Following the second gave me a yes or no poll on whether I approved of the president. They also sent him a text 2 hours later. You were one of the 25 President Trump. Okay, you get the point. The point is he almost immediately gets interaction from the Trump campaign. They're asking for him to make donations, saying, hey, you've won. Check this out. He says all of that happened within 2 hours. The Biden campaign did not contact me until 7 hours after I downloaded the app, thanking me in the late afternoon. Quote, it's Joe Biden and I owe you my sincere thanks, David. You all have been so great to this campaign. You all? Question mark. Like, who is that to? I've been calling donors, and so it's great to thank people personally. I'm calling more this week who are helping us start May strong. If you aren't a May donor yet, you can chip in here, and I might be calling you soon. He goes on to say, over the next few days, it was easy to forget the Biden app existed. Push texts were infrequent, and unlike the Trump app, the Biden app didn't let me check virtual campaign events. That was on the website. Team Joe offered me a few options and news items, all of which directed me from the app back to the campaign website. For 24 hours, the top news item was a new Biden campaign pledge, which I could take, committing myself to empathy, a new campaign pledge, committing myself to empathy, keeping faith, humility, and no malarkey. Among other nice things, if I wanted to volunteer, the app made it easier. but not addictive. Trump 2020 did not let me go so easily. A news feed led me to read the latest messaging just as it would appear to a reporter on the media list, or the campaign's curated tweets, which prioritized big names like campaign manager Brad Parscale. An engage button educated me on ways to fight with President Trump, from hosting a MAGA meetup to joining the campaign finance committee as a high-dollar bundler. Sharing the app with a friend would award me 100 points, while sharing any news item to Twitter or Facebook would give me a single point. A good prize like expedited entry at any to-be-scheduled rallies cost 25,000 points. This is amazing. The gamified Trump app has made some Democrats nervous, not least because Biden hasn't tried to compete with it. Everything that came from the Trump campaign had an act fast, as seen on TV feeling. Nothing from the Biden campaign did. Biden's campaign texted me a poll. Are you planning to vote for Joe Biden in the general election in your state? And a longer strategy survey asking if I wanted to volunteer and what issues I cared about. The Trump campaign and the RNC in the same time period invited me to the Trump 100 Club, and saying it permanently expired in 6 hours. A 2020 sustaining membership with the campaign, and a poll that claimed the president had closed all the borders to keep America safe. While citizenship applications have been halted, and while resources have been sent to the Mexican border, the nation's borders are not closed. I'm pretty sure Dave Weigel is completely wrong about that. We're in the midst of a lockdown and a pandemic, but of course I could be wrong. It's his story. We'll leave it to him. Look, I don't think I need to read too much more. This story makes it clear. Donald Trump's campaign is active. It's engaging people. It's offering them something. I mean, think about the point system. You share one of these stories that they like, and they'll give you points. And if you get 25,000 points, you get expedited entry to a rally. Have you seen the lines to Trump's rallies? They stretch blocks, thousands of people. You really, really want that. Trust me. As a member of the press who has been to many a Trump rally, I have had the privileged benefit of getting to bypass the line to get into those rallies. It would be impossible for anyone to get in. I'm exaggerating, but you got to show up so early. I mean, people were showing up in New Jersey like the day before, or even like 2 days before, camping out to get access to these rallies. Man, people love this man. And you know what? We all know it. Trump supporters are more excited to vote compared to Biden voters poll. Do I even need to show you the poll? Come on, man. Now, look, I think it's fair to say that the Biden campaign is doing an awful job, but it really is relative to the excellent job that Trump's campaign is doing. No, you can't deny it. The Washington Post lays it out right in front of you. We know it. Trump's app is gamified. He's having fun. His campaign managers, they're posting memes. They encourage you to post the memes because the memes make you feel good, man. You're laughing. You're part of the crowd. You're having a good old time. But before you realize it, you're loving everybody who's laughing along with you. What is Biden doing? He's at war with the far left. They don't like him. The Democratic establishment is in shambles, and he can't even do a live stream. Think about the disparity here. Not only is Donald Trump's app apparently amazing, according to the Washington Post, Joe Biden can't even live stream himself. How is this campaign even considered a campaign at this point? Look at this. Joe Biden starts general election nearly $187 million behind Trump. You know what? Just stop. Enough. It's already over. Biden should just go in his rocking chair in the sun, put a little blanket on his lap and just lull himself to sleep like he did on that live stream with Hillary Clinton. And we know where this is going. Donald Trump is going to win. This is a story from today, early morning. Supporters of President Donald Trump are more excited to rally behind him than those who support Joe Biden, according to a new poll. Of the president's supporters, 48% said they were extremely excited to support him in a survey of voters in Massachusetts. In comparison, 24% of the presumptive Democratic nominee backers felt that way. While on the other end, 15% of Trump supporters said they were not that excited, compared to 28% of Biden supporters. Yeesh. So this was just done by Emerson in Massachusetts, but Emerson's pretty legit. They said the polling also showed 60% of those in the state were planning to vote for Biden, with around half backing Trump. Around 9% were undecided, of which the majority, 70%, were leaning towards Biden. We get it. It's Massachusetts, right? It's a blue state. Despite this lead for Biden, voters were fairly evenly split on who might win November's election, with 54% predicting a Biden triumph. Why? Are they saying that just because they hope it's true? It is true that opinion polls do have an influence, right? The idea is if people assume Biden will win, they want to vote for the winner, so they do. Maybe that's why they're saying yes. I have no idea. But I'll tell you what, if 70% of the people in that state are saying they're going to vote for Biden, but only 54 are saying Biden would actually win, that's a decent amount of people, 16% or so of those Biden voters who don't think Biden's going to win. Hey, at least they're being honest. I can respect that. Yeah, I don't see Biden winning. But I'll tell you what, we all thought Trump would never win, and then he won. We all think Joe Biden will never win. Hey, he might win. Now, the enthusiasm gap is really important. With more people, people are much more excited to vote for Trump, and they're going to come out in droves no matter what happens. And for Biden, I can't say the same. But while this is all going on, there's another story occurring, and it's the allegations against Joe Biden. Now, I'm not going to get into all the allegations, but I'll save this one for 6 p.m. So make sure you check this out at youtube.com/TimCastNews. More corroborating evidence. Let me say that again. More evidence comes out. Documents filed with courts backing up the claims against Joe Biden. I bring you now to this absolutely wonderful meme posted by Cassandra Fairbanks. Democrats defending Joe Biden be like, don't touch my garbage. And it's a picture of an opossum in a garbage can snarling at somebody. Isn't that just so cute and hilarious? And that's actually how I feel. The best part is, it's not just Trump supporters who are laughing at this meme. It's the progressives in the far left, too. You know, I would absolutely love to have any one of these universal basic income, Bernie Sanders supporting far leftists come here. We can all hold hands. I'll hold the hands with the Trump supporter and and the Bernie supporters. And we can sing hilarious meme songs about how Joe Biden is awful, how his campaign is in complete chaos. The dude can't make a live stream work. And yes, the campaign is garbage, and we all know it. At least there's one good thing from all of this is that Joe Biden's incompetence and the failures of the Democratic establishment is a unifying force for the populist left and the populist right, thus mending this ever-present culture war and bringing people together at a time when we thought very seriously that, civil war was a real possibility. Now, I don't know. Look, I think a lot of these far leftists right now are ragging on the Democratic establishment out of, anger that Bernie was essentially pushed out. But I'm fairly confident that should Donald Trump be reelected, we are going to see many of these far leftists roam the streets screeching and yelling and dropping to their knees and yelling no, just like we saw last time. So maybe it's just a temporary alliance because we all enjoy yelling at Joe Biden. But a lot of progressives predicted that Joe Biden couldn't beat Donald Trump. So right now, I think one of the reasons many of them are actually entertaining this and attacking Joe Biden is that they really want him to lose so they can say, I told you so. Not that they want Trump to win, but I'll tell you what, they're angry. Bernie was their nominee and he had a ton of support and he had a real potential. And I got to say, I don't think Bernie Sanders could have won this time, but I think he could have won last time. So that anger is ever present. The Democrats had an opportunity. I do think Bernie could have won in 2016. I think he may have actually won because around, I believe it's like 12% of Bernie's voters flipped for Trump. It's 12 to 18, depending on which polls you look at. And then around 9 or 10% of Obama voters actually flipped for Trump as well. Bernie could have maintained some of that, excitement. But Bernie also flip-flopped, so Bernie is worthy of criticism too. Nonetheless, for the time being, I will happily enjoy the memes coming from both far left and right as they refer to Joe Biden's campaign as garbage. Oh, poor Sleepy Joe, man. I feel bad. Seeing him struggle and wander off camera and his live streams fail, it really is kind of sad. This poor old man can't even just do a live stream, and they just keep propping him up. So, you know what? I'll leave it there. It really is sad. It breaks my heart. But you know what? Look, he wants to go for it. I don't think the campaign is real. I really don't. Or at the very least, it's just so utterly incompetent. Could anyone argue with this? I guess the Democrats are going to pretend like, no, that's not true, Tim. You're just biased. Oh, shut up, man. We can all see it. Stick around. The next segment is coming up at 6 p.m. youtube.com/TimCastNews. It is a different channel, and I will see you all there.